What's happening, Carolina fans? Welcome to Two Fans in the Stands, a podcast related to all things Carolina Panthers and North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm your co-host, Tony.
And I'm your co-host, CJ.
Let's go. CJ, what's happening with you this evening, cuzzo?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. Kind of in my feelings right now. Little bit emotional, but I think that's that's a happy emotions. Especially looking forward and going forward. So I'm try to stay even keel, with my thoughts and look, just hope for the best.
You ain't gotta be even kill. Say what you mean. Say how you feel. I mean to say. Say what you feel.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I just don't want to. Lot of people seem like they first game of the season now. All they want to do is just jump on and bash Matt Rule and this and that and fire Rule, fire Tepper. I don't know how the hell you gonna fire the owner, but that don't make sense. But anyway, just some of the stupid comments that you see and read, and I'm trying not to just trying to be a little subtle. That's all. Just trying to be a
You
little
can go
subtle.
ahead and throw me into that into that kind of fire rule mix. Not all the way, but for me he's definitely starting off the season going down that road. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there now. I'm not team Rule at the moment.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, let's jump right into it, and we're gonna start with the offensive side of the ball. Tell me, what did you see from that side of the ball today?
My overall review of the offense for this game, I thought they just started off real lethargic, real slow. I thought the play calling was real lackluster for the first quarter and 90% of the second quarter. My thing has always been with the Panthers, it seems like it always takes too long for them to make adjustments, to what's going on, and that's both offensively and defensively. But in this game, to me, it took them too long to make adjustments offensively. And, I'm not the coordinator, I'm not the coach, I'm not there at the stadium. I'm just a fan, and this is just what I see. I think, once they got going, they started showing, good balance per se. I think they could have ran the ball a lot more with Christian McCaffrey, or got him involved in the game, in different ways. Got to give, I got to tip my hat to Cleveland's defense. They came out, they had their game plan, and they executed it until we finally figured out, what we needed to do. We had a few, in my opinion, we had a few lucky plays. That long touchdown with Robbie Anderson. I think the coverage had a lapse, and it was busted coverage, but combination of busted coverage, great play calling, great execution. Christian McCaffrey had that one really lucky play where Baker fumbled the snap, and he picked it up and ran it for a first down. But overall, the offense, it was definitely a tale of, it took them way too long to get going as far as this, this game. By the time they got the wheels rolling, I'm not going to say it was too late, because we actually did make a comeback and we were actually leading, with a minute and something to go. but
Yeah,
I
yes, we
really
were.
wish they would have. I really wish they would have got going earlier. And like I said, I got to give it up to Cleveland's defense. They had their game plan, and they executed it. But yeah, offense was kind of, it was kind of meh. But like I said, it took them it took them too long, just way too long to get going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. I'm a frustrated Panthers fan right now.
I get it.
Very, very, very frustrated. I mean, we only mustered up 54 yards of rushing offense. Baker had 207 yards passing. We had 261 total yards. 261 total yards, 50 plays, and only 21 minutes and 34 seconds as far as time of possession. You
That
know,
one hurt.
that one hurt. Cleveland really controlled the ball, and Baker kept getting balls batted down. He kept fumbling the snap. It was a couple where it looked like Eifline just threw the ball, just skidded the ball across the ground. And I know there was one where I don't know if he just kind of snapped it into his own thigh or it hit Baker's hand and hit his thigh. And then, he had to fall on it. But, overall, I think these are things that they can be corrected. The offensive line looked, okay. Icky didn't
Right.
struggle like I thought he would,
Right.
because Myles Garrett took him to school a few times,
Yes, it did.
especially late in the game. I would have much rather saw that earlier in the game, and then he corrected it. But I'm not going to say that I think they played okay. I'll give them an okay. I'm not going to give them a good, but I'll give them an okay.
Yeah,
You know,
Brady Christensen surprised me.
yeah, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good, but they definitely got to work on you know, and I think it's a combination of they got to hold up a little bit longer, and Baker and the play calling, they have to get better together. Baker has to go through his reads, get the ball out, but to
Right.
me it also seemed like the play calls, when you have those long developing routes, it seemed like Baker for the first quarter and most of the second quarter, he was waiting for something to come open, but he couldn't get it there. Or either when he got it open, his ball was batted down. Or then you had the plays where the snap was fumbled, and then they couldn't really get into the play, And then it seems like when he got the protection, the receivers wouldn't get open. So it was a combination of things. But I do like the fight that they had. I do like how they came back. So I would, I'm not happy with the offense, but I think they did okay, and I give them just okay, and that'd be my thoughts on that one. But what do you think about the offense?
Yeah, that hey, what you said was pretty spot on. Me personally, I thought there was too many offensive mistakes, especially in the first half, and I believe that Baker contributed to most of that. When you talk about five, I think at the half he had four batted balls, he had fumbled the ball four times, and then he threw that interception. So you talking about 9 offensive plays that couldn't even get going because of mistakes pretty much that he made. I'm not even throwing in the sacks or the hurry pressures from the defense. I'm just talking about things that he could control as far as the balls being batted down, the fumble snaps, and the interception. I do believe that offensively, I would have liked to see them get CMC more involved from the beginning. It's almost like an insult to him for him to only have 5 touches in the first half. You know what I'm saying? That to me, that's crazy. Like, I know they want to keep him healthy, and I know they're trying to do everything to keep him from being hurt. But he's also your best offensive weapon, so therefore you have to utilize that weapon. You paying this man $16 million a year. You can't be afraid to use him. Um, I didn't think that they provided Icky with the help that he needed on a consistent basis. Ian Thomas, to me, is not a very good blocker. I mean, even when, I looked at and I saw him lined up on that side of the ball, and I knew coming into the game that what Cleveland was going to do, what they'd like to do, they like to line they defensive ends in that wide 9 position. I mean, they put them outside, way outside of the tackle, and let them
Mm-hmm.
rush. And one thing that they didn't do that I thought they was going to do, that Cleveland is notorious for, is putting Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett on the same side, and letting Myles Garrett rush from that wide 9. So I just think that better help for Icky would have been useful. Um, I didn't see him. Like you mentioned earlier, we knew that he was going to struggle early on. I mean, look, he's going against Myles Garrett in his first NFL game. You know what I'm saying? Hey, welcome to the league, rookie. You know what I'm saying? I think that was his like
Exactly.
his baptism moment. But for the most part, especially during the times when we did decide to run the ball, I think he did pretty good in the run game. Like I said, I was even surprised at how Brady Christensen held up in the run game. Taylor Moton kind of upset me when he let that one sack get away. The guy wasn't even on a delayed blitz. I mean, he showed the pressure on the line at the the pre-snap of the play, and he still didn't even pick it up, and then he whiffed at him, you know, at the last minute, and the guy got the sack. So there were some things offensively that they definitely need to clean up. I would have liked to have seen them go 2 tight ends. Um, which creates an extra blocker on, 2 extra blockers along the offensive line, especially with the pressure that they were showing up the middle. They was constantly showing a lot of pressure, especially from the double A gap position. And even though they wasn't coming all the time, but just the fact that they were showing that pressure, you have to be prepared because you don't know if they're gonna come or not. But
Mm-hmm.
what else? As far as that, I mean, again, the play calling, I agree with you. I think it could have been a little better. I think we, instead of coming out trying to throw the ball, we should have came out and tried to establish the run more. Like you said, as a rushing team, we only had 54 total yards rushing, and Christian McCaffrey only had 10 total carries as a
Mm-hmm.
running back. For 33 yards. That's crazy. That's crazy when you say that you want to be a ball control run first offense. Well,
Yeah.
this is definitely not the way to do it, because you only had 19 total carries as a team and 54 yards. You didn't even average 3 yards per carry. You know what I mean? So I think
Yeah, I got you.
that they were trying to get Baker involved in the game, too much. Which, and when I say that, I think they was trying to put too much on him in the beginning. I think the run game, if you could have started off with that, that could have helped him settle into the game and become more relaxed and more comfortable. And then possibly the offense could have flowed from there. But just to,
Agreed.
just to come out right off the bat, just put it in Baker's hand, I didn't agree with that. And I think that they waited. It's hard to say whether they waited too long to make the adjustments in my mind, because and the reason why I say that is because if it wasn't for all those mistakes that Baker caused on his own. Now, I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just talking about the fumble snaps and the batted balls. If you just take those away, you know what I'm saying? That's 8, 9 plays right there. I mean, that's basically two drives. If you talking about 4 down territory, or 4 downs to get 10 yards. I mean, that's 8 plays right there that never got started. So it's hard to get any consistency flowing or get into your groove when you don't even have the when you can't even move the ball consistently to begin the game. And then when you add in the sacks, now that makes it even worse, because now you're behind the ball. 2nd and 15, 2nd and 19, you know, 3rd and 15, and this, it's just we was just always constantly behind the 8 ball in the first
Yep.
half. But I did like the adjustments that was made coming into the second half. Now, that first
Mm-hmm.
series was a 3 and out, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, we got going. We
Yeah.
got going. We made some adjustments as far as the blocking schemes up front. We were able to you know, give Baker a little bit more time back there. It seemed like he settled down just a little bit more, just a little bit after that first half, leading into the fourth quarter. Now that fourth quarter explosion, it was like a little too late, but we had the lead, and that I think the worst part about the whole thing was we did all that. We overcame all that to even have the lead with a minute and with about 15 seconds left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then for us to not be able to hold on to that was the heartbreaking part. And I know people say, well, you can't just go off the 2 penalties that the ref threw, but
Shit.
yes, you can. Yes, you can, because at the time Carolina had the lead. It ain't like we was fighting to get back in the lead. We had the
Mm-hmm.
lead and had a chance to win the game. You come with these two bogus calls that flip changed field position to benefit Cleveland, to put them in position to kick a 58-yard field goal. So to me, I mean, like I said, I like you said, and I agree with you. I definitely love the fight. I love that they hung in there, and to make it a game and even give us a chance to win. So I was definitely happy about that, and I think for now we get the whole Cleveland versus Baker thing out of the way, and now we can move forward. We got 16 more games to prepare for.
Yeah. This, this
So
this is true.
yeah, so let's flip it. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. What was your take on the defense?
My defensive take, all is not lost. It really looked like, well, not really looked like, Cleveland did run the ball. They ran the ball for 217 yards. But what I was really happy with is if you think about it, Cleveland probably should have had, say about 42 points. You know, the Panthers really did kind of, like I like to say, bend but don't break quite a few times. Cleveland had 2 scoring drives for touchdowns, and then the kicker had 4 field goals. So I was happy that we were able to hold them, to those 4 field goals. We forced 4 punts. I think the defense did. I'm gonna give them an okay too. I wasn't really happy with the pressure that they were getting on Jacoby Brissett, and I got to give big ups to Cleveland's offensive line. I mean, they're good offensive line for a reason, and they put that on show. So, I think Derek Dump Truck Brown, as we like to call him, was you know he was playing like a short bed pickup truck yesterday. He definitely wasn't being the dump truck. The whole defensive line, to be honest with you, they really couldn't. Brissett was just he was comfortable for most of the game, in the pocket. Tackling tackling was bad at times. One thing you can't do with Nick Chubb is try to go for his legs. His legs are big as tree trunks. And time after time, they were going at his legs. He was pushing them to the ground, or, he was just stepping out of those attempted arm tackles, especially around his ankles. He was stepping out of those breaking tackles and just scooting down the field. It was a lot of missed tackles. The coverage, I think the secondary was probably, our bright spot on the defense for most of the game. Now Peoples-Jones kept getting some like insanely timely catches. It's like whenever they really needed a catch, he was there.
And who was checking him?
It was Dante Jackson. Yep.
The weakest link.
Dante Jackson, yeah. Now, and J.C. Horn looked okay. Now he definitely showed that he only played 3 games last year.
He looked horrible.
He did. He did. Not the entire game, but it definitely showed. He had a couple holding penalties, and I mean, there was one play when Brissett hauled off and threw it to Amari Cooper, and Horn slipped. He slipped out of the break, but luckily Brissett overthrew him.
Yes,
because that was a surefire touchdown right there. And Horn slipped, but the ball was overthrown. So we got lucky on that one. But and whether you factor the luck into it or not, overall, I'll say they did okay. They did okay. Now they got royally screwed on that last play. I'm sorry, on that last possession. Brian Burns come off the edge, classic bull rush. Offensive lineman off balance, on rails, on ice skates, whatever you want to call it, going backwards. He gets pushed into Brissett, and Burns throws his hand up, as an attempt to try and stop the pass, and they call roughing the passer.
Right.
One of the worst calls I have ever seen. And then it made it worse, especially after the game. When and even the announcers were like, there's not much there. Like I really wouldn't have called that.
Right.
But that I think that was real deflating. For me, because like I said, I think the defense held up okay. I really didn't think that we were going to just shut Cleveland's rushing attack down. I did not think that at all. I knew Nick Chubb was going to get his. I was hoping it wouldn't be, 2,241 yards. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
figured, yeah, I knew he was gonna get his between him and Kareem Hunt. But and we had talked about this earlier. I wasn't too terrified of their passing attack, in which it didn't do a whole lot, and they capitalized when they got the ball down on our side of the field, after interception. But as a whole, I think the defense. I think they did good. No, sorry, not good. I think they did okay. Let me go back. I think they did okay. They definitely have a lot of things that they need to fix and shore up. But I will say it could have been a lot worse. Defensively, it could have been a lot worse. And I'm excited the fact that we actually got Cleveland off the field, and even held up on a couple fourth downs. So, but yeah, overall, I think the defense did okay. A lot of room for improvement. What about you?
Well, let's see. Where can we start? Well, let's go back to the. I want to piggyback off what you said about the stopping the run. Now, I was of the mindset. I knew there was, like you said, I knew Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they were going to get theirs, right? But this is how I looked at it. I looked at it as if here we are, we have a backup, pretty much quarterback that's starting the game for them. They only have one true number one receiver. Donovan People Jones. Okay, he's a good number two. Okay, I give them that. But my thing was, if you wanted to apply pressure, my thing was you want Jacoby Brissett to beat you, not Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And they did the complete opposite. Me personally, I would have had five or six men on the line of scrimmage at all times. I would have been sending. I mean, I would have had the box stacked like 7, 8 deep stacked. I would have took my chances one on one on outside with Amari Cooper and Donovan People Jones. Because even if I did that, I got single high safety. If I'm running single high safety, that means I'm dropping Jeremy Chin down in the box. So now I got him playing like Cam Chancellor 2.0, right? So now instead of just two defensive linemen, I'm throwing a third one out there because I know I'm going to need the size. Off Cleveland offensive line is no snout. Is no they're not
Slouch.
soft. Slouch is what I was trying to say. Thank you. They're no slouch. So I didn't understand what made them think that we can just control their offensive line with two defensive tackles and two defensive ends. In my mind, I won't even say small defensive ends, but we know Brian Burns is just coming to his own as far as being able to hold up and stop the run. Yitor Gross Matos was like a ghost out there to me. He was like non-existent. I can't remember calling his name or hearing his name called not one time all game. And he has size on him. You know what I'm saying? He 265. He's 6'5", 265. I see these guys not playing with their hands. That stack and shedding that you see most defensive tackles use when they shoot their hands and they stack the offensive linemen up and then they redirect them left or right. When they're trying to shed the block. I saw none of that. It seemed like they were just trying to like just bull rush, and now you letting these offensive tackles get their hands on you and pretty much do what they want to do. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all yesterday. I thought the defensive line, the defensive front was very suspect. I didn't like Phil Snow's play calling to stop the run. It looked too much to me like last year versus the Dallas Cowboys when they was going when
Mm-hmm.
they had a big personnel in there and they just kept pounding the rock, pounding the rock, pounding the rock, and we made no
Yeah.
adjustments. You know what I'm saying?
None.
It looked like that all over again. Here we are. We got J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson, Dante Jackson. Three corners. If we can't, if you want to know what you got in your corners, put them. Let them play man to man. Jason Horn looked like a rookie yesterday. He looked
Indeed.
he looked worse yesterday than he did in his first three games last year. You know,
Combined.
now mind you, he was checking Amari Cooper. Now Amari Cooper is no slouch. You know what I'm saying? But he matched up well against him. If he just stuck with his technique, stop grabbing the same kind of stuff he was doing when he was at South Carolina, grabbing and all this and all that, the eyes not being disciplined, him and CJ Henderson not being disciplined, eyes in the backfield too long when your eyes should
Mm-hmm.
be on your man. I always have this philosophy for a corner. When you see, I see. What does that mean? When the receiver is running his route, if I'm playing man coverage or press man, that means I got that man in front of me. I'm not in zone, so my eyes shouldn't be in the backfield. My eyes should be on the man in front of me. I shouldn't look back for the ball until he look back for the ball. So when he looks back, I look back. When you see, I see. So that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? He can't catch the ball if he ain't looking for it. So if he ain't looking for it, you shouldn't be looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
CJ Henderson looked like Dante Jackson of old to me yesterday. Even when he got beat and Amari Cooper got behind him, the ball was still underthrown to the point that Xavier Woods intercepted the ball, but because you don't grab the guy about around his head and bring him to the ground, now that negates the interception, and now Cleveland gets the ball on the 1 yard line. Like that to me
Right.
was like
Yeah.
bone headed ass play. And I say this, I'm gonna say it now because I know when I said it before, we didn't have the show, anything like that. But I'm gonna say it now, and I'm just gonna put it out there. I personally believe that C.J. Henderson will be better at playing safety than at corner because he doesn't do good in press man coverage or zone. And I say that zone because his read and reaction skills is not what it should be, especially for someone with his talent, his size. I think he would be better to utilize the size and his speed playing safety where everything is in front of him and he don't have to react so quickly, but he got the speed to catch up, to go, from sideline to sideline. That's just my personal take on that situation. But you have to think about this. Jacksonville was willing to let him go for a reason. This guy was a top
True.
10 pick, a top 10 pick that he didn't even get to finish his second season of his rookie contract with the team that drafted him, and they traded him away for a fifth. Well, I think it was a fifth round pick, a
I
fifth and a
think so.
third. Yeah. So it's a lot to be said. There's a lot there, but just me personally, from what I observed from him, I think he would be better playing safety. That's just my take. And the discipline from the corners, again, they were not disciplined at all yesterday. Too much hand grabbing, too much holding, eyes not being where they need to be. You know, I do think as the game went on, I think they got a little better, but again, Cleveland didn't possess the kind of passing attack to where that we need to be overly worried about it yesterday, to the point to where we couldn't have stacked the box and forced Jacoby Brissett to beat us. But we sat back and allowed him to be comfortable in the offense. Again, Jacoby Brissett is not a starting caliber quarterback in the league, but he ain't no slouch neither. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he came
No.
from Eastern Washington somewhere. The boy played at NC State. He been in the league for a while. He knows what he's doing. If you give him time and if you give him time to feel comfortable, he can do what he can do what he does. And he did it yesterday. We applied no pressure to him. We didn't force him to beat us. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know. I last year I didn't agree with Phil Snow defensive scheme, and it showed itself again yesterday. So I'm definitely want to see what changes will be made going forward. And too many arm tackling and not being in your gaps. We I think we put more emphasis on speed than physicality. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah, I
lot of
got you.
these guys, a lot of these guys, they could run around and that's all well and good. When you put a hat on a player, can you bring him down? Can you bring him down? It was just too many times. It seemed like we had a player, in our grasp, but it's like we can't bring him to the ground. Like what are we doing? There were times when we had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It should have been a tackle for loss. But then they turn
Mm-hmm.
right around and gain 3, 4, 5 yards. I'm like, how in the hell? I mean, we got guys right there with their hands on them, and we still can't make the tackles. So I was very disappointed with the tackling. I was disappointed with the defense not being the gaps, and definitely disappointed that we was not able to provide any pressure or push up front from the defensive tackles. Like you said, I was trying not to laugh, but you was called what you called Derek Brown
Short bed pickup truck.
short bed pickup truck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Matt Ioannidis cramped up. He was in and out of the game. You
He had
know,
to get an IV.
yeah. Then you bring in Henry Anderson. Now he did okay to not know much about what to do. In our defensive
Yeah.
scheme, but I mean, at one point we had Bravion Roy and Phil Hoskins playing defensive tackles. If I saw that up front, I'm gonna run the ball too. I mean,
Exactly.
not really trying to, throw shade at anybody, but I'm like, Phil Hoskins, Bravion Roy, they should never be in the game together. If you got Matt Ioannidis and Derek Brown in there and one go out, then yeah, you bring the other one in. But you should at least always have one of them on the field. Like there
Yeah.
were times I don't think I have to go back and look, but I don't think Derek Brown played 50% of the defensive snaps yesterday. I don't
Hmm.
think he did.
Yeah.
I don't think he played 50% of the defensive snaps yesterday. So I mean, listen, that run defense. I mean, granted, we played Cleveland, the best rushing attack in the league last year, but still, we made an emphasis, we made a point of upgrading the offensive line and bringing in some new pieces along the defensive line to show up that run defense, and it didn't look any better than what it has looked in the past. So,
Nah.
overall defensively. I like that bend but don't break mentality that we did show. Um, I definitely feel that the tackling needs to be better. Our defensive backs, they need to be a whole hell of a lot better, especially in their discipline and their eye discipline. More than anything, I think the communication was there. That was something that I was um, looking to see yesterday was what kind of how the communication was going to be, especially on the back end with Xavier Woods and Jeremy Chin. And I didn't see any major hiccups or anything like that that would ring the alarm for me, anything like that. And I do like the fact that Xavier Woods played the position. He played that single high safety position better than we have had in the past 2 or 3 years. You know
Speak on
that
it.
that one penalty that he got called on him. Well, hell, I would take that penalty too, because ain't no way in the hell you gonna tell me I can't go
Tell me
low
about it.
on this 310 offensive lineman looking like 18
Barreling
wheeler
down
coming
on you.
down on me. Yeah, I'm about to go low too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they expect him to do. I'm like, hey, that's just
Yeah.
one I just have to take on the chin and just be like, okay, it is what it is, boss.
Yeah. But isn't there like a new penalty now this year?
Yeah, it's that the defensive player can't go low at the knees of the offensive player like
To
they
try and
used
get to
to.
the ball carrier.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, he went too low, then he like ducked his head down. I think that's what made it
Yeah.
even worse. But luckily he didn't get hurt. And but that penalty hurt us. That penalty hurt us. But
You did.
I just don't I just think that the defensive scheme overall was wrong. I think our scheme should have been applying pressure to Jacoby Brissett to make him beat us. We only had one sack the whole game. No interceptions. No, yeah, no
Mm-hmm.
interceptions. And we only had one sack the whole game. So I just think that the defensive scheme was wrong. So that's my overall take on the defense. So what's your
Agree.
overall impression of the game as a whole?
Um. Okay, with a lot of room for improvement, and I want to get into something too. That
Okay.
last drive that we had. Okay, remember I told you a long time ago that it seemed like we've been cursed since the John Fox era, and in certain situations it's like we get a lead and it's like, all right, run, punt. Now, mind you, we didn't have the lead per se then, but it kind of like that same mentality. Now you get the ball inside, in the red zone. Okay, Cleveland still got
Mm-hmm.
all timeouts with a minute and 31 seconds or however long it was left.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know Baker fumbled on that first snap, but is it me or would you not try to get that first down or try to do something instead of running three straight dives up the middle? I'm sorry, with two, because he fumbled the first snap. But that really burned me up because it's
I
like,
will have to agree with you 110% on
okay,
that.
all right, cool. Okay, so it's not just me, but
No.
it was like you. Yes, we were in field goal range, but you got to play the game to win. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's one thing if we had 10 seconds left and we had just made it down there, and we're just trying to keep the ball or get on the kicker's preferred side of the hash, something like that. But they still had three timeouts, and it's like a minute and a half left, and you sit there and you do everything you can to keep them with time on the board so they can go down and kick a field goal at the end. Now, mind you, there's a lot of stuff that happened, on
Right.
their last drive. But that really burned me up. The fact that they just kind of they got down there and they were just like, okay, well, we're here. We're gonna get a field goal and it's gonna win the game. I
Yeah.
really, really thought that at the very least they should have tried to get that first down, or or
Or
took a
even
shot at
get
the
it.
end zone.
I guarantee, yeah, take a shot at the end zone. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that really burned me up. Because I'm just like I kept getting flashbacks. So like, oh god, like this reminds me so much of of John Fox. He get a 1 point lead, and it's like, okay, for the next quarter, you're gonna run 3 times and punt every possession, run 3 times and punt.
Right.
Even though that wasn't
Yeah.
exactly the case, but I felt those vibes. It's like you're instead of you got your foot on the neck, and then you let off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That.
You
Yeah.
got the gas
That's.
pedal to the floor and you let off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how that last possession felt to me, and that really pissed me off.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always said time and time again. Once you got your foot on their neck, don't take it off until it's over.
Don't.
I, I
Yes.
don't. I don't understand that holding back, pulling back, whatever. Like I get it. I understood what they was trying to do, but
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I believe also they should at least took one shot at the end zone, at
Yes.
least one.
Make an
They
attempt.
yeah make an attempt. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But overall, a lot to work on. They got a lot of stuff to shore up. But like you were saying too, you know, the defensive scheme was just off. It was just wrong, and I agree with you 110% when you said they should have loaded that box up and made Jacoby Brissett beat them.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. No, but you're absolutely right. They really had one true number one receiver. Then you had Peoples Jones and Swartz. That's
Yeah,
really the only ones that got their hands on the ball besides David Njoku. And was it Harrison Bryant that caught a pass too?
yeah. I think
So
I
it,
think he
it
caught
was
like one or two. I think
yeah,
Njoku may have caught one.
yeah. It was. Let me see. Yeah, you had Harrison Bryant, Schwartz, Cooper, and Joku, and Peoples Jones and Hunt. I mean, Kareem Hunt was their
Yeah,
second, leading receiver with 4 catches and
and that was
24
coming out the
yards.
backfield. That
That
was
was
coming
coming
out the
out the
backfield.
backfield.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
Coming out the backfield.
exactly,
Yeah, I agree. They should have loaded that box up. They should have stopped Chubb and be like, you know what, Brissett, you're going to have to beat us.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, he was, he only threw for, what was this?
147 yards.
147 yards.
Yeah,
Peoples Jones had 6 catches for 60 yards. Like I said,
yeah,
Kareem Hunt was the second leading receiver, 4 for 24. Their number one receiver had 3 catches for 17 yards.
yep.
17 yards. You know what I mean? But in the grand scheme of things, he didn't. Brissett didn't have to do too much because they were running the ball so well. But like you said, stack that box, make him beat us. That should have been the game plan, and it wasn't, and it cost us.
And every time they needed a first down, when they broke the huddle and came to the line of scrimmage, they changed the play or they moved Donovan People Jones to the side of the field with Dante Jackson. And it was so obvious what they were trying to do. And I was just waiting for them to send him some double team help, you know, get give let let Dante play him on the outside and bring a safety down and play the inside. So when he tried to make that little quick in, you know, you got a safety right there. But no, they
Yeah.
left Dante Jackson by himself. Now Dante 5'10", 180 pounds. Donovan People Jones is about 215, 220. He gonna lose that matchup. He gonna lose that matchup
Yeah.
every single time. And every single time they throw the ball down low. He went down and grabbed it. First down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to give Brissett and Peoples Jones credit because Brissett really threw the ball to where, either Jones was going to catch it or it was going to be incomplete. I
Yep.
got to give him credit for that because he did make some clutch catches, but they were some pretty good throws. But yeah, still no excuse like you said.
Yeah. Overall, for me, we talked about the defensive scheme. To me, that's my number one thing for. Well, I say number two thing. The number one thing for the game is the miscues. On the offensive side of the ball, particularly from Baker. Like I said, I think this is going to be a one off. I don't think you're going to see that going forward. I don't think Baker's going to fumble the ball 4 times from center. Um, like we saw today, and I don't think that you're going to see him get as many balls batted down, at the line of scrimmage as we saw today. I'm not going to say
Yeah,
that he's not going to have any hiccups because he's not perfect, and I'm not going to put that
yeah,
on him. But I think today was just a one off. And like I said, even with all that, we still had a chance to win the game. But
yeah,
despite all all that happened, despite the first 3 quarters of the game and how bad it
hmm
looked and all the boos and
yeah,
everybody want to fire everybody and this and that, at the end of the day we still had a chance to win the game. And if it
yeah.
wasn't for
Speak on
two
it.
two calls that should have never been called, or at least
Hmm.
if they since they were called, they should be corrected. And this is my thing. This is my only gripe with that. I believe roughing the passer calls should be reviewed. I've
Thank
been
you.
saying that for the past 2, 3, 4 years. Ain't
Thank
nothing
you.
changed about it. Because on that
Thank you.
one play with Brian Burns, it wasn't his arm that hit Jacoby Brissett. It was his own player. If you go
Hmm.
back and look at the review, that was his player whose arm swung back and
Yeah.
hit Jacoby Brissett. Brian Burns didn't even touch him. He
Hmm.
didn't even
And
touch
and
him.
and and then Brissett, did his best, Oscar performance. Oh God, I'm hurt.
Yeah,
They hit me in the head.
yeah. So,
Acting like he was messed up.
that rule, I mean that particular play and the intentional grounding. Now I did go and find the rule on online, and I should have copied it, but I didn't. But it does say that if he takes more than one step backward, more than 2 steps backwards, and
Hmm.
then ground the ball, throw the ball in the ground, that's intentional grounding. That's
Yeah.
not that's not like a dead ball play. That's intentional
Hmm.
grounding. Not only did he do that, he went more than 2 steps back. He hesitated. He
Yeah.
hesitated like he wanted to
Faked it.
ground the ball. Yeah, he faked it and then he threw it to the ground. That should have been obvious intentional grounding, and the game should have been over at that point.
10-second runoff, and they would have had to throw a Hail Mary at the last play.
Yep. That should have been
Hmm.
the game should have been over at that. No, because it would have been a loss of down. That would have
Yeah.
been a loss of down, and a spot foul. So the game would have been over at that point. But oh man, listen. Like I said earlier, people gonna say what they want to say and feel how they want to feel. It's all about how you analyze it. But the way I look at it, at that point in time, Carolina had a lead. We were up 24-23 with a minute and 31 seconds left in the game. Pretty much the game was ours to lose. It ain't like we was trying to fight to get back. We were already there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was everything to me that happened from that point forward that put Cleveland in a position to kick a 58-yard field goal. If those two things wouldn't happen, they wouldn't have a chance to win.
Yeah, you're right about that. You can call it what you want to, but it happened.
Right. Yep. Right. Well, everyone, that will do it for us for this week. Next week's opponent is the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in New York. Until then, we out.
Thank you for listening to 2 Fans in the Stands podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Tune in next week for another episode.